Nix 100.9 FM so any. Na ene Monday, November 18, 2024. Time just about gone 28 minutes past 1. Me man ti dwumadi na ye de bremo. Dwumadi de bremo me amedi hu chia me from ADAKABRI Mudu Osioma. Na senior co-character right in front of me here. Ohima Akuya Efriye. Na production no panyini kwadwo da me ado. Ana esi ne nan esro na majori osai ajman ebo no chi edom emakwe free yesu na sabe semrante kwai emi no so yebetimi akọ yanimu na technical production no abna frema abankro one nana ya osafo ana one enso so ehwe ema yetimi interactive with listeners no on various social media handles say Facebook, say X, say Instagram, say YouTube ni nyina ensam ebekoso ewo ho na also wetimi asend messages na yetimi akenkan na yede akọ saa so na engineering team no achu agbo worker wetiakwa na najare na nabuaje adasam kroma da nyina esanmra ne se sempro na fe yede aba facilities for no so eno de big solo and a dada and a Godfred your friend Uprana na mapuna yaw na Sami na fe so no Mills ni asanmra ne se tetai na ye hu se bibia ebekoso kama de amayen ensem no edoso papa na awie enchia soronko so na me de ma menua be ma fefe your friend no nana akomia intercity STC na watimi ahwe atoto ne norma no no kuri asoso no one of the finest information ministers Ghana yenyaye employment minister so osan die nana akomia awie bia wo bia nana mechia yes what on stadium hotel nanga stadium hotel intercity STC for dia na aton ya nana se kaka chem kranka me wafanka meton meje tomano already was na dia wo kan kura na any 15 seconds no akan yawie na de na monkan tenancy agreement no na mo de asem mo de ehye nti nana akomia o say kan de na we know say and MD any to me say abanya japade otimi ton just like that ema ye de echo na ene ede na daba maso ensema daba maso ena akua me mo atena se
Basho manjo so
wa panyin na awie ho te san
yakopon adome hoye basho na we
Yami adom esuso kasa ibai na wahu se bibia eko yami na yeda no na wie nsem a ewo honom no bedema yebehwe Professor Jampo in the first instance obeba na Musa Dankwa in the second instance obeba na Dr. Asa Asare in the third instance no aba and then Dr. Amwakumba in the fourth instance Dr. Amache Buating na ono so wetimi aba it is what we propose to do ne say Jampo obeka ne say interviewer ewo ho as a result of say Papa J Kufuor akansem bi na Jampo share views bi the view now we share no we may need to clarify and possibly amplify certain areas it is Professor Jampo and Ebidikaba but there's a scheduled interview from Enedjua Day ekoko si election day where we need to understand data and where data is pointing us to. And into every Monday at 1:30 pepe no na ebebo modene na yene owura Musa Dankwa Global Info Analytics ebi agitum ebi enyintum ye de data no na ye hwehwe enti yene no ebekasa na afeso no every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday at exactly 2 p.m. and so no na yene Dr. Asa Asante such a erudite researcher and a political scientist at the University of Ghana, the only University of Ghana. On also Mondays, any Wednesdays, any Fridays be at 2 p.m. Topical issue be relating to this election. Dr. Asa Asante at the nimtie ebe chire ye no ma bi na yetimi ate no ma zintie ne 2 p.m. Dr. Asa Asante obeba na yene di nkomo then every Monday bia every Wednesday bia every Friday bia at 2:30 p.m. Dr. Kwasi Amache Buating or also from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology na ye no ayakasa from January to date no yen kasa no emra from na fe yentie de Musa Danko e ka kire yen na yentie de Dr. Asasante ka kire na yentie de eye Basia Machebuate ka kire what do you make of it?
Oh, it's a very good initiative. See, I short time say woman now woman do so. Your core election, we need to know what data is talking about. Information say all ground yeah, we need all of that. In the election and yes, we have to head yes. Very
yakasa do omumra me chire ye no ma bi.
Omo chire no ma ni hu se ne be ko na after 7 to no be ni so ate no wan. No.
Eti ene topic e da honom. I say Dr. Muhammad Bawumia spending more time in Asante, Akan regions and churches at the expense of the swing regions. Swing regions, essentially Greater Accra, Central, Western, and to some extent Western North. And to say what are the implications? In data, we chew data, we eat data, we sleep with data, we do everything with data. So and I say data from Global Info Analytics since April 2022. Since April 2022 to date, a pointer to the winner of the upcoming general elections are now. So because scenario number na otimi bia say in the event say we na be win MPP primaries na or pair one mahama say na be siako we na be win esoso a or pair one mahama say na be siako entini nyina no yam kuyachi from April 2022 na yenhwe data no what is the data pointing na yentimi emra
mebo modern atura to ho
but modern atura to
yeah election year na my friend say papa say na kosi
now urefisi wo ka kire yesa friends John Dramani Mahama win here
yentwanity
and also refi
no feed
anti wa sheda obo pada wa mana nimu ya yehu wanim yehu kura ibetwa so win here
na say cheddar win here
Cheddar is making inroads amongst floating voters. Cheddar is getting close to Dr. Bawumia among floating voters. No, Cheddar so and Namasia and first time voters so no Cheddar esonam and the traditional areas we so on. Na Oshe Dr. John Dramani Mahama just was scatter northern region at the rate of 66 percentage points. Ninano yahwe na yanwino ho na Dr. Muhammad Bawumia over the period so no 65 64 63 64 65 e wa Asante e dia na e koso Kufuor as much as 78 Nanado 72 75 and it what is making Dr. Bawumia a year 63 64 65 and is the data telling us the true story na
so eduwa ye fe omo ombecheche
mu it Fred Dr. Jampo Bray na Professor Jampo Bra na yentie de ode eba graphic is telling us was a majority to vote on policies voters prioritize manifestos in graphic poll anunti Global Info Analytics phone poll na eba ye no enanopa nonson enon publish here almost say economy number 1 on people's minds and then jobs number 2 and then education number 3 and then between economy jobs and education almost 70% of NIPA and then graphic is telling us say 66.6% as a manifesto number so now omodi ato aba the Ghanaian publisher or the eka or say Akufo-Addo to commission educational projects across Ghana over 80 of education projects and Nana Danko Akufo-Addo oba be tudini adenedi I say Ghanaian Times and also so eka we say Ghanaian Times is election 2024 or see EC reprints ballots for Ahafo voter regions over serialization errors affected ballots shredded bent and also electoral commission almost say yam from Subi Kakra said they almost see and number say yeah this is forms so like as serial numbers no hunu ye no almost say omakwa akoye den akwa di afidie atete de ya print no mu ewo Ahafo any voter region and na ya hye no kra ai so and Omapian Ghanaian Chronicle or say police promise tough security for December polls. George Akufu Dampare also on the Dr. Wijinam Fimfin. Dr. Wijinam Fimfin says a person in Bianam Fimfin. Now almost I Ghana first. Now almost from Ghana. Kufu Dampare and all can say so and the Daily Dispatch or also so I can say or say Public libraries in Ghana have increased from 36 in 1981 to 133 in 2024. If Siam, losing candidate at the Nsawama Duajiri, or the ESO to Ijano. The new crusading guide, and also dust over machines. NDC government bought only 60 drip machines for 27.7 million euros. And Osim Fidia, Yade Kwakwa Juma, Yade war regions and any adeno. Or say a sika omodeto a video makoma dusia a million no a duonu and so chilipo and so and omode a cocotoye a the publisher and ono so no or de we so e de buyer publisher no so or say a we can't rely on only Ashanti vote Ashanti region votes. Let's unite, work hard to win Central region for MPP. Afenyo marking. And all kind in some say, says Abri, we say, baby, you're there. Mamma for money and to a Asante person. Na yen say, move to me, as so at me, a winnie, a day, ama, a winnie, so at our Central region, the ama MPP. So, as soon a daily guide, and on also walking, or say vote for Bawumia, go for, or say Papa J. Kufor, and Nani, a Kwame Dinkra. Aputiti and Kwame Tanko Haiti and Samson Kenya Miche chef and so no Samson Kenya Miche chef and Ohineba Asiedu or mo aqua or Makwa Kotuna Noa Wakasachele or Mino na daily searchlight and on also what can I say as a Kufuor people in wheelchairs are there be the la Adam and somebody be on more Ukraine and Pesa would one no Ebebeka Bibisa we got to a aperture there and so no it's not worth repeating until now what they at all. The answer said the global info analytics and come yene Musa Dankwa dino and every or say national telephone tracking poll 2024 presidential election polling period November 11 to November 16 and odeba Monday November 18 na dia na Musa Dankwa oka edichire yen enti Musa Dankwa ne nsem a oka no beboa yen ama ye hunu se de besi afa na ye de akono enti egusuneti enit 100.9 FM na ye se dwada bia no ye ne Musa Dankwa ebedi nkomo 1:30 p.m. Inti overrunning by 10 minutes late. Na yen konkohwe asemwa Musa Dankwa honum. Idi ya muhado ba ni FM so. Idi Musa Dankwa mwa.
Meji woso.
Na what you saying?
Nyamina do.
Subject to your timings. Are we in agreement say from this Monday up to a year election and thereafter say best way new president every Monday woni ebetonsa edidi efa data ho ana
I think we are in subject of election.
It's subject to your availability in there every Monday 1:30 p.m. nyame be yadom ADAKABRI ho so ni ho no mo na woni eba ade na telephone tracking poll no between 11th echo 16th. Tell us background no.
You the moment polls every from Monday to Saturday and a year calls. From October 12th. The last one I did buy Ocean, any nipa 2,600 Canadian down. And year MPP4 from this 2006, 35% MPP4, 33% MPP4. Floating voters 18%, other parts percent, and almost half of them. interview today between 11th November and 15th November. Live telephone with voters. Their confidence level at 25% on this poll. And the margin of error is plus or minus 1.86%.
Tima Yen show. Since the first quarter of this year, Emma Moye field sampling up to October, yeah, mo publish a field sampling no. Na mo share with the phone track no. Kusi a net de ya mode abay, which you tell us say the last of the phone track no. Tangent baby and namono trend no. Undulated and as pointing to a particular direction.
It has been consistent. It has been pointing to one direction, with some little variation between the field survey and telephone survey. But overall, Oshe the Itanoa, where John Mahama was almost over a year ago, any BB or one there, it's almost identical.
Over a period of 12 months, baby John Dramani Mahama won any ne baby or one identical, pointing to Ubekan say a consistent trend and
Planet here. Osha the poll in April 2022. Now John Mahama 53%. Baumia on 38%. Others now more 9%. And then Mahama 52. Just 1% difference from where it was in April 2022. Almost 36 months from today. No? The difference is just 1 percentage point.
Enti yehwe say Mahama no NDC for no no say ono ebe flag bearer enti na the time wo ye nyina na chese say Mahama na ode baba na MPP for no until September 2023 na omo enya enyi omo enipa finally November 4 na omo crystallize yema omo yi Dr. Mahama de Baumia enti from April 2022 where you had the opportunity to pair in case Baumia and a leader, in case Shematin and a flag bearer, in case Kennedy flag bearer. What was it pointing at? And what can we say about the flag bearership of the MPP now?
No, Osha, what we were doing, they didn't understand what we were doing. Osha, before MPP and the prime minister, they ran a hypothetical poll. Say Mahama any Baumen Elqua, Ebekusin saying, say Mahama any Alana, Ebeko saying. So those were numbers that they ran. And in fact, we did Dufo and Alan, any Dufo and Baumia, just to see which of the candidates will pair better against the other, or who don't pair worse against the other. So from the beginning, you could see that Mahama against Alan was a lot closer in terms of the gap between Mahama and Alan. But the gap between Mahama and Baumia was wider. That continued until Alan dropped in the race. When Alan dropped in the race and Kennedy entered the race, we started doing a scenario where it is Mahama versus Kennedy. And that also showed a similar pattern as to when Alan was in the race. So you could see that both Alan and Kennedy were faring better against Mahama than Baumia was throughout the campaign or the polling cycle.
Now, Baumia Trump card, we were led to believe from the Zongos, from the North, and from Muslims. Do we have any data on that?
No, if you look at the current poll that we just released, if you look at the support among the religious groups, and in particular among the Muslims, let me just pull the data and see. Also, among religious groups, Muhammad is around 63% of Muslim vote. Baumel was 34% among the Muslims. Alan 2%, Bediak 1%. And in fact, between last week and this week poll, Muhammad has gone up 5% among Muslims, and Baumel has dropped 3%. And so has Bediak also dropped 2%. So the Muslim vote does not follow, it's not following the perception people held before.
The perception and in Nipebi was at least in the Akan areas or Asante region, a bankable number, and that young concope Muslim vote, MSOSO, young concope Northern vote, MSOSO, young concope a Zungo votes, MMSOSO. You are saying, as per the data now, say data don't support such assertions.
No, I know. In fact, we made this clear some years, a year or so back. Polls of the Zongo areas in Kwan, not even Muslims, just the Zongos. Because the Muslims include so many people who are not in the Zongos. When we went to the Zongos, the numbers were far worse than the national support for Baume in the Muslims. So the Zongo areas are quite different from the national Muslim vote. And also, it's also important to note that not every Muslim comes from Zongo area.
So one wonders how it is to be explained. To the extent, today we are exploring that point of Dr. Muhammad Baumia spending considerable longer period in the Asante region at the expense of the swing regions. We are wondering what exactly is happening. Why do you think that he's spending considerable longer period in the Asante region?
I think they believe that their path to victory or making the race competitive goes through Ashanti region. And that if they're able to get, as they say, 80% of Ashanti region, then they could win the election or force a runoff. And probably they have seen from their own internal polls things are not what actually they expected. So the flag that has to be described improve on the numbers in Ashanti region. That's the only reason why he will be in Ashanti region. Normally, your stronghold, you don't spend a lot of time there. You spend your time in the areas where we call the swing, Greater Accra, Central, and Western region. And at the moment, it seems the priority has shifted to Ashanti region. It tells you something is not right.
And data from Global Info Analytics pointing to Dr. Baumia in Asante region, 63, 64, 65. 63, 64, 65. Even on a rounded average, 65. It doesn't cross 65. What accounts for that?
You know, it is the general issue facing everybody in the country, the economy and jobs. And there are people who will not put those issues above anything else. So sometimes they may be loyal to you generally, but there are others who will not say that, who will say that, look, the economy is tough, I'm looking for different alternatives. And again, you have a high number of people who are saying that they will not vote. So those people, when they don't vote, it depresses your number. A man number no perform. And that is what is happening in Ashanti.
Because you use a poll track no na regional polls no from the 8th of November to the 16th na oshe average no na odi toto a 2-week average from 2nd November to 16th November. In the case of say Ahafo region, Dr. Muhammad Baumia 40%, JDM 40%. Then when you run the 2 weeks average now, Dr. Baumia dips down 37% and in the Ahafo region, and then Muhammad dips a percentage point to 59. And then in the crucial Asante region, Dr. Baumia at 64%, JDM at 25%. And then when you run at the 2 weeks, then Dr. Baumia at 65%, JDM at 27%. A bit about that.
What you normally see is that week by week, the numbers may differ. So, in fact, just one single period said this is where the race is. It's not when we say you are far average for 2 weeks. It shows you what might be going on in the last 2 weeks. And then say, if far average for the entire period now, you can see, say, it's a lot smoother all the events that may have been happening in the last 6 weeks are captured in the data. So normally, if things are changing very fast, then you look at the 2 weeks average. But if things are not changing fast, then you look at the 6-week average. Also, the 2-week average, it seems to be a bit lower than the 6-week average. So Ashanti region, more or less, we are seeing it's not what it's supposed to be. I don't know whether they can force it to go up a lot more between now and December election.
Because Asante region, you are looking at between Chematin and Cheddar over 11%, and then Dr. Baumia 64%. Now Dr. JDM at 25%. That I say
because the Bedia factor and Alan factor is what is depriving Baumia of the 70 they are looking for. Once those people are doing 2%, 3%, 4%, then that 70 will be very difficult for them to achieve.
Now, whilst he over concentrates in Asante region, leaving Greater Accra, Central, and Western, and to some extent the Western North, what could be the story?
I can only speculate based on the way I understand data and the way the campaign teams behave. Now, it could be that they feel they are okay in Accra, Central, and Western. So the only problem is Ashanti region. Or it could be that they feel that maybe Accra, Western, Central may not be in reach. So where can we minimize the fallout? Ashanti region. So probably that's what we are saying. Maybe after Ashanti region, they will focus on Western, Central, and Accra. But time is almost gone.
Time is almost gone. But in the Northern region, surprisingly, in the final week here, you publish JDM at 66% in the Northern region, and then Dr. Baumia at 33%. Northern region, suddenly him say popular vote, parliamentary side, MPP has been rising up to the present data. It says 99 in the parliamentary chamber. Na dear Nama essay Baumia performing below par our Northern region.
I mean, we don't know the specific reasons why he has dropped. In fact, he dropped 7.4%. Alan has dropped 1.6%. Vijay has dropped 3.4%. Alex have dropped 0.3%. But all affairs have gone to John Mahama. We don't know the reason behind that. We are speculating. I think we are also hearing that potentially the conflict in the Northern region may be having impact. But that is just speculation. We don't have data, but it could be lending some credence to that. So that's the only thing that is changing in that area around this time around.
Also, so we share a current telephone track here. Year 16 for your publishing, and the 18th for year. Northeast region, the home region of Dr. Baumia, is hovering around 28%, as opposed to John Mahama 67%. What is happening?
That is a dramatic shift in the Northeast. But those are what we call outliers. It may not necessarily translate to actual numbers in election day, but it tells you that something may have happened. Obefia, that number has coincided with overall drop of Baumia in the Northern region as a whole. So there could be a link as a mechanical one. You are picking what is happening in the Northern region from Northeast region, and that is a sign that something may have happened in that period that may be causing this dip in the poll, both in Northeast and Northern region. I don't know what it is.
But at least, in the Northeast, they're all running up from the 2nd November 2 to November 16. Then Dr. Baumia recovers at 61%, as opposed to Mahama's 36%. But we stand alone 8th to 16th for no year. Then Mahama has taken that commanding lead. So why that dramatic change in within a week?
That's what I'm saying, sir. Something might be happening. I don't live in the north. I don't know. But I was talking to some of my regional coordinators, and some of them are giving me some hints that the conflict may be having toll on Baumia's numbers there.
And it may require Baumia to go there now.
That one I don't know. I can't tell you.
It's just that time is fast spent. It who was I want to say Diana was yeah. Greater Accra stand alone at the same.
Greater Accra has been very bad for very long time, and probably they understand that very well internally. I don't think they don't know what's happening in Greater Accra, but the numbers look very, very scary indeed. And that number, if it pans out on election day, I think it could be very difficult. Oh, share the last week, no, there has been a recovery for Baumia in Greater Accra. But then, who you sue the 2 weeks average, no, he's down almost, he's around 30% in Greater Accra. But if we use the new average now, he has improved quite a bit. Now, if this recovery continues, then Accra will be a good place to watch. If it's a blipper, then the overall numbers will be funny outer. Accra could end up negating huge number of votes, basically, Asante Bebano. So if you neglect Greater Accra, it will cost you a lot more because it's better you hold your fort in Greater Accra so that the numbers that come from Asante will count. Who lose Accra in this way, that means the numbers from Asante region will not count. Government some time back said Accra will decide who wins the election. I think that assessment is correct.
Now, at present, the people appear, as per the data churned out by Global Info Analytics, up to say 90% have made up their minds. What can change it now then?
I think, you see, at this late hour of the race, I believe we are in a state of fait accompli. The numbers appear to be stuck at a very high proportion. Who are saying that their votes are locked? It means if they are voting for Baumia, it is him they will vote for, rain or shine. If they are voting for Mahama, it is him, rain or shine. So the good thing for the person leading is that it can be assured that his numbers are locked up. But if you are the one that is not leading the race, that means your numbers may be in a very difficult position. You cannot do much to change it. That is why just about, I think, only 4% say they are likely to change their
mind. Now, given what happened in the United States of America, could somebody say Global Info Analytics we over enthusiastic now?
No. Osha American Post from the beginning of the year, Trump had led consistently with a higher margin. And it was clear that he was going to win the election landslide if it was Biden versus Trump. Or when they replaced Biden with Kamala Harris around July, September, you could see that Kamala rose in the poll for about 2 months, and then she began to slide. In the later stage of the poll, it was neck and neck. The gap between either the candidate was no more than 2% in all the polls. And in the American system, just winning a state is enough. We don't have to win by a wider margin. In our case, the gap between the leader of the race and the follower at the moment is around 11.4%. That is way, way outside the margin of error. Margin of error is, let's say, 2%. And the gap is about 5 times the size of the margin of error.
Indeed, we could not dictate anything. What Global Info Analytics churning out, pointing to a sustained lead by John Dramani Mahama, no? Ain't contrary.
No, especially for Baumia to come from where he is to win the race. It doesn't happen like that in election. Unless Mahama throws the race away, unless there's something scandalous about him, unless something scandalous happens, that people who were voting for him lose confidence in him, and that could throw the race up in the air. But so long as the campaigns remain the way it is, nothing will change that much.
And you are still confident enough to throw your rounded head and your reddish lips into the hat in the event Mahama doesn't win.
Mahama will win the race. I'm still doing that.
You still offer your head?
Yes.
And because the gallows has been prepared at Sawamu Junction.
ADAKABRI.
Ma young friends here for now. Na last point about top 3 issues. Economy, and then jobs and education. And then today, Graphic also tells us 66% are saying that they rely on the manifestos to make their choices. Do we draw any lessons?
Look, every survey has put economy, jobs at top. Graphic survey, online survey, we should bear that in mind. Not many people are able to access the online survey and do them. When we do survey, we stick to rank and file of every group of voters in the country. And both NCCE survey, Barometer has put economy, jobs, education at top. What the manifesto does is that it tends to throw more light on the economic policy of those parties. So if people believe that job is a priority and that your policy on job is credible, then they support. But the post we have done shows that manifesto is the third item that would influence voters. They are mentioning their current economic conditions and the track record of the party when it comes to what they have done in the past. Then we have manifesto.
Okay. Yenyensia na in between next Monday, inshallah, you back near Babeshe. Baumia free asante no. Fine na esi dachi ewa asante no kwakwe yeden. Yo, yeah, that's easy. Info Analytics Executive Director, Musa Dankwa, ena yene no atwetwen enkomo ewa hase no. Messages kakra ewa hase. Nana Boateng on Facebook Live. Was you cannot be driven by the polls. The polls change all the time. They are easily manipulated by whoever wants to ask those poll questions. They go up, they go down. And Dugbache Yawu also vote for John Mahama, and the NDC and Ghana will work again. Eyezu, Stephen Yabua. Alan is all the way. Alan, number 13. And Nanabuat Nebium. This man again. The real post results will be shown on November 7. Not someone who is doing Ajana 2, Ajana 1. And now we can speak with Professor Yao Jampo, who has written a very beautiful piece commenting about John Ajikumuko for speaking to Ghana in Ninsamo Kayano. Waka Ede Ababi Siso ama waye reference to Abranti so Edia or no so Ekaye the founding president of Imani Ghana or no so dia or no so Edeka Franklin Kujo enti Professor Jampo Nidia or the Ebre. I'm lost for Professor Jampo's article. When they be an essay. Right. Prof Yamwaha.
Yeah,
and now what is a prof? Nibia any yakwemu. Except to say, why did you find it necessary to comment about Papa J Kufo? One on my moon Ekasa Kwame Dinkra Katie Kwame Tanko na Samson Kenya Miche chef na Ohineba Asiedo na ono Mayakasa na ochese nyina no yen support Dr. Mama de Baumia. You've written a very beautiful piece. The prose, the grammar, the logical conclusions fine with me. As to what your views are, tell us the entire story.
Oh, you see, democracy be between Argentina. And Kofobi war a war, democratic practice no more. omono they must live above partisan politics. Na hinti about oman mu a sankofo no na omo ye mpenimfo mutumi ekasa ma akoma etoye mu na combatant de omo nso ejai ebia basabasa ya omo ye minim so bekaya but I'm aware 2008 yeto aba ewie ye no nanka enye easy say power the outgoing government na enye easy crash on cover and over power and in penimfo binum a omoye above partisan politics ena ene nkofo kokasa ya ma sanya yehu ye no enema look seamless but behind the scenes you know nkofo enim ebra ebinum ebre ye ewo kasa a omone the various political elite ne kasa ye ansa na ede asubie eye na bae enti ye nkofo bi wo every democracy mu a won no enam say they have seen it all no enti omo form ho endom aman so ya amanyoko ni kra na okudu already that level Oguni be described as a statesman now. On said partisan politics, on cap amanyosem. Even though or amanyukua or support or try to be they try to project themselves over and above partisan politics. And those asante henia. So na question I'll be sabi. Bisa one say asante henia wait me akatasa.
Debbie.
On katasa because even though oyo hene ewo asante no peno we projecting on why no born the black conduct in such a way that Oceana is raising above partisan politics. Oh, in the NDC for corner wow geom, MPP for corner wow or begium. Now we're in meaning I dream with that dear. Now so Senya Michelle Senya or no. It is going to be impossible for Asante to come out openly to say Mon Toma party A and our way now obabwa. Oh yes, sir. As I say, omo contenders ni na se nkofo a omo nso edibu ma na na se nkofo a omo eye ne ma. Enti no onkogina baako eti na onkogina onja baako eti saa na asofo ene ahemfo aka nyina. Enso ese ka omutumi ye. Sofo mpenimfo ne kuku dam nyina no. Eno no mo rise above partisan politics. Say wa sorry na what you on NDC for on MPP for so wo oh na ne efe enne se wo ye omunyina eja nti e ba se won ko ntokwa